Shitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back live in the studio for the first time since last week.
Since last week, yeah. Forgot about that one. Yeah, we're back. We're here. We're doing it. I think we're just going to jump into some classic click pitch, our standard format. And Trevor, do you want to tell our lovely listeners what that's all about?
Click pitch is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us. On the count of 3, 2, 1, we're going to click refresh. We're going to get those words. We're going to throw them at each other, come up with a game design, then throw it away and start all over again.
Yeah. We skip leg day. All arm work. Throwing, catching, no kicking. Don't kick these words. All right. 3, 2, 1,
we kick them to the curb if we don't.
We kick them to the curb. That's true. We do get a well-rounded workout with all the curb kicking.
Yeah. Electric.
Snowshoe. Okay, now, while the obvious one is some sort of device, I think this is the name of something. Like a band or like a high school debate club. I don't know. Something. Electric snowshoe.
I don't know. I'm just seeing like how cool it would be to be in like a blizzard and trying to, reconnect up the electrics and that sort of stuff again. Like I can sort of see that as almost like a
so it's a wiring game.
Yeah, it's a maintenance game where you're a maintenance person for
so it's not the snowshoe
scientists.
itself that's electric.
No,
necessarily.
So you're a maintenance guy trudging through snow, trying to connect up all the electrics between this observation station down in the Arctic.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Or Antarctic.
Let it be known that Electric Snowshoe is a cool name for a group. Somebody take that. But let's make this snowy electrician guy game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, because I kind of like it's almost a horror game. Or at least a thriller.
Yeah.
Because you've got some tension around, having to trudge through the snow on snowshoes. And
while carrying a live wire.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's one of the, vignettes. That's one of the scenes. And so, narratively, I assume you're kind of discovering what's going on here as you connect this stuff up.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking almost like, if you remember, I think it was Lost Planet, or was it something else that was set on like...
yeah. Yeah, I think it was Lost Planet.
Yeah, set on like an icy sort of planet that you had some survival aspects. I kind of like the idea that there's like the frostbite. You know how they've got a frostbite engine? But the difference is, in this case, frostbite is actually, something that you...
So we build it on the frostbite engine and implement actual frostbite.
Yeah.
I do like putting some survival aspects in there. That kind of adds to that in a certain way. So you've sort of got missions. I'm picturing this maybe like 70s era tech.
Yep. So
it's not like modern electronics as such.
Yeah, sort of turn of the 70s to 80s. Sort of tech.
Yeah. So that you can do things. So that you can have some things where you like. It's not just electronics, there's like telephony stuff.
Yep.
So you can be like hooking up
the Morse code.
And having to translate some things and that can be another vector for, narrative movement that we can bring into it.
You've got like this big heavy radio that you got to sort of like carry the battery along with.
Yeah, well, I definitely... So, okay, where does the danger come from? Obviously, there's the survival aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some level of heat, like warmth management, food management. Is this kind of a Firewatch-esque situation where you're stationed up here? And so you've got to kind of ration things.
I think you're sort of stationed up here. You're not really in the same area as like the observatory or whatever it is that you're looking after. You're sort of set maybe 2 miles away.
Yeah, you're like at some sort of substation.
Yeah. And so the only way that you're hearing stuff about what's going on is through the radio and that sort of stuff. So you, they're sort of like, oh, we need you to flip the breakers here so that we can get some extra power for this section. And so you're sort of on your own and having to deal with, things that go bump in the night sort of thing. And
I like that idea, similar to Firewatch again. You can have some scenes where you think you see someone through the snowfall, just an outline of a human.
Yep.
But, if you chase them, they get away from you. And I don't know, do we bring in kind of supernatural elements? I feel a little bit of like I don't know. I get a J.J. Abrams feel.
Yeah, I do like a good supernatural element that doesn't necessarily have to actually be there. You can always be within the mind. Your mind plays tricks on you.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily prove it to be true.
Yeah.
If you take it from his perspective. I guess it depends on, if you just, I guess it's not, there's no attack, there's no combat. It's just, it's tension and narrative.
I kind of like the idea of having like a very basic melee system, but you don't necessarily have to use it like within the game sort of thing. Like it's there, so you've always got the threat of something happening. So you can like swing a wrench or whatever.
Well, yeah, I like the idea of putting combat mechanics in the game, but it's literally a mindfuck, as in that there is nothing to ever attack in the whole game. But just having them, it's like that's kind of a meta narrative thing there, where just the player knowing that they have this melee attack puts them in a certain state of mind.
Yeah, and they can, knock a barrel out of the way, and they can use it on the environment.
Some physics stuff.
But the idea that it's always there is like, and it's sort of set at the start.
You put a whole combo system in. It's like all these attacks. The tutorial teaches you,
but the whole thing is it's all about just knocking barrels out of the way.
It's only ever used for physics puzzles.
I'm just imagining that
airdrop attack.
I'm just imagining that like you're getting like juggle combos for keeping the barrel up in the air. And all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's full on like Devil May Cry style combo meter. Using your electric cable as a lasso.
Yep, I love it. I love it a lot.
Alright, let's throw it away. 3, 2, 1, click. Oh, this is appropriate tonsillectomy.
Literal.
My son was just in the hospital. He didn't end up needing a tonsillectomy, but he was there for a few days because of his tonsils. Mm-hmm. Literal tonsillectomy.
Yep, so it's a game where you're in VR doing a tonsillectomy, but you're literally controlling a robot that's actually doing a tonsillectomy on someone.
Like in the real world.
In the real world.
It's like an Ender's Game thing where they send this game out and little do you know you're actually performing tonsillectomies.
And heart surgeries and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, depends what level you get to, for sure.
The whole thing was shut down very quickly when they realised that all these gamers out there are really shit surgeons.
I love this idea, though, actually. Like, I know you were making a joke for that being in the real world, but you could make a game where you start off playing this surgeon simulator style game, but obviously a bit more realistic. And then, you find out, like you see on the news, like, engineer surgeon develops, foolproof robot surgeon that never, like, that can make decisions on the fly. Mm-hmm. And you find out, you start realizing, wait a second, I performed a heart surgery yesterday flawlessly, that exact surgery with those exact complications. What's going on here? And then that's the start of the actual rest of the game.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy, though.
I mean, yeah, but it's a game. It's fine. I'm almost picturing it as, and not with this same conceit, of being in the TV, but duck season, where you've got the little story bits where you come out like just in between. So yeah, it's a VR game. I guess it kind of is a bit like, it is a bit like duck season. Maybe within the game, it's the kind of VR within VR sort of thing. So it's a VR game, but then in the game, you put your VR headset on to do this surgery, and then you come out, and then you're in the real world. And that's where you're kind of finding out about all this stuff. But the only gameplay is this surgery.
Yep.
Except maybe late in the game where you have to perform an actual surgery. Like on your sister or something.
Oh, God. I'm going to throw that one away. 3, 2, 1, quick.
All right. Yeah, I can see. You're not feeling it.
No.
Inflammable.
Junction.
An inflammable junction.
Yep.
All right. My mind went immediately to some sort of fire-based puzzle game.
Okay.
Maybe like laying fuel of some sort down to create trails. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, ooh. My mind has just sort of gone to like a Celeste style like platformer.
Oh, okay.
With basically you play like a little ember running around setting fire to like a forest sort of thing. I don't really care where Junction's coming in because I'm liking this idea at the moment.
That's fine. Well, I like the idea of you're manipulating the environment, obviously. So setting fire to something means you can maybe travel along the path of that fire, right?
Yep.
Because you're an ember, you just kind of are consumed by it and then come out the other side.
Yep.
So, you need to get up a ledge. There's a vine. Set the vine on fire. You can get up there.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some timing aspects of like, some things stay burning for longer. Some things won't catch unless you have an accelerant or dry them out first.
Yep.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. What I do kind of like is that thing of, in order to not get consumed by the rest of the fire, you're this one ember, you're trying to keep ahead of the fire while also, adding extra bits to the fire itself. So there's no real backtracking in this. It's more, keeping ahead of the main fire itself while also spreading the fire itself.
Oh, I see. You're on like the fire front.
Yeah. And I'm imagining when you get to the end of a level,
you just like comes across, consumes everything,
and then your ember gets blown across into a new level, sort of thing, and then it starts all over again, and you're basically starting off with this small fire, but by the time that you get to the end of the level, there's this big raging thing happening behind you.
Yeah. So you're thinking 2D?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking 2D.
Yeah.
I do like those sort of Super Meat Boy-esque.
Yeah. It's like a challenging puzzle platformer, basically.
Yeah. Maybe on the slightly easier side.
Yeah, perhaps. I do like the puzzle space that we've got there. So how does this ember interact with the world then? Obviously, it can. Is it just if it touches certain things, it will set them alight if they're basically in the right state?
Yeah, I'm sort of thinking that this ember sort of continues along as it's running. It basically leaves a trail of fire behind. Yeah. And so, if say you're in a typical Super Meat Boy sort of world where you run and jump against like a wall or something like that, you're gonna have a trail of fire leading behind you. But of course, as that starts coming from behind, it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You don't want to.
Well, but does it depend on the fuel though? Like, because I'm kind of more picturing, yes, you're dropping flames everywhere, but for the most part, the fuel isn't there. Like, and they just go out. Your little drops of fire. But if you come up to that vine and like jump on the vine, then it sets it on fire and starts. Climbing the fire, starts consuming the vine up and up the vine, and that lets you get to the top of that ledge, because you can basically ride the flame up.
Ooh!
But are you picturing kind of?
Ooh! I just had an idea. still taking it in this sort of way, but you start out as a small ember and kind of Katamari Damacy like. You start off on like this small area of this small part of the puzzle, doing these intricate jumps and that sort of stuff. But as you grow bigger, like the level's slightly changing, and you're sort of seeing the bigger picture of the level, and basically you're seeing. And
now you're like a larger
flame until finally, you're still the same size on the screen, but you're in a different, the level has now
sort of thing.
Expanded to the point that now you're actually running on full branches, sort of thing, and you're no longer running, along individual leaves. You're sort of jumping between branches of trees and stuff,
setting them on fire as you go.
Yeah.
So is a lot of this around small sections where you have to have precision platforming because everything's burning behind you? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, definitely. And I do like the idea of having some sort of, like, there's new trees that aren't going to set on fire as quickly. So you've maybe got more time to sort of play around.
That's what I was kind of thinking about, the fuel aspect, because I was thinking of things where you could be like, okay, there's a pile of dry leaves up there, but there's a branch up there and there's a fuel can or something, whatever, like on top of it. Mm-hmm. So if I burn the branch, then the fuel can's going to fall and explode and splatter everything around it, which is good because I need that accelerant to burn through, the I don't know, something, the bamboo door or whatever, like something that doesn't just catch a light but needs that added boost of the fuel.
But I'm also thinking that, if you're getting hit by that stream of water there, then depending on how big your ember is, depends on whether a single drop is gonna totally put you out and that's the end of the level, or you're a bit bigger so you could take half a second
that's interesting.
In the water.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's even a strategy of you have to douse yourself to a certain degree to become smaller again, to get into or to navigate a certain space. Yeah, there's some cool stuff there. I do like that puzzle space. I like the idea of manipulating a level by burning things and irrevocably changing them until you die and start the level again, obviously. But sort of everything's one way. All right. 3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, click.
Domicile.
Trading
domicile. Okay. Is this some sort of reality TV parody around house swapping?
Yeah, I was thinking that, or I was also thinking about what if it was a Sims game? So you start off, setting up your house and that sort of stuff. But then at random intervals, it just trades with someone else, and now you're dealing with what their house looks like.
Their shit? Are you dealing with their family as well, or your family gets moved into their house?
Maybe they're different modes. So sometimes you're dealing with their family, so you got to deal with, oh look, this their daughter is setting fires all over the place. Now we've got to deal with that. And then all of a sudden, just as you sort of getting to the end of that, you just traded with someone else again, and now you're dealing with their son is a chronic masturbator or something like
that. So what's the mechanism for dealing with these things?
I don't know.
All right, so I'm kind of
unpacking where you you can just put shit in people's rooms.
Well, I like the idea of, I'm thinking maybe a mobile game. So you might, you're on the train and you get an alert of hey, you've got a new house. And, before you might have built up this family that you had, a family of 5, and they were doing really well. And then you check the new house, and it's like a 1-bedroom something, and your 5-person family has to fit into it.
Yep.
And so now it's okay, new challenge. you have to start making decisions like, all right, the oldest kid is going off to boarding school and, these people are sharing bed. Like you have to kind of rearrange. Yeah. Like you've got the Sims sort of thing. Maybe not as, I'm thinking not quite as in depth as the Sims stuff, but more of a casual mobile game where based on how you set up the house, you make money over time, right? You based on your job and it affects like, okay, if there's factors so that if you do have a lot of people crowded into a small space or this person doesn't actually have a bed to sleep in, then their needs are going to change over time. But it's over like a day.
Okay.
So it's a bit more of an idle game.
Okay.
In a sense.
That's cool.
But it comes down to, like manipulating the environment. And then once you're like, all right, I'm kind of getting on top of this. And then you just get into a completely new house randomly. It's like, fuck.
I just got my family all well
maybe
adjusted.
It alternates.
And now it's a new thing. I did have another idea, and it takes us back to the old, well, I say old, but there was a game that we came up with like anthropomorphic houses. If you remember.
Yes, the flesh.
The flesh house, yep.
Flesh houses.
So,
okay.
Set in that same universe, and it's basically where the flesh houses are literally trading members of the family with other people to sort of build the best family they can.
So this is
like a deck builder.
This is the dystopian future, at least for humans. After because for a refresher to those who may not have listened to the Flesh House episode on it, we should have called it Flesh House. I can't remember what we did call it. This was a world where little did we know, but these new smart, amazing houses were sentient creatures that were literally being grown in molds, basically.
Yeah.
To into the shape of houses for people to live in, and were basically being enslaved. Maybe this is a future where they've taken back their freedom and now they have, in turn, enslaved humans to a certain degree, and forced them to live in themselves. And yes, there are aspects of trading.
I just had this image of like a deck builder, but or sort of like what was the game that we were talking about where you it was in the PAX episode that I literally just edited on the weekend, where you had to like discard as many cards as you wanted. Well, the idea of discarding family members just to build a better family.
I like the idea of a deck builder where you play as a flesh house.
Yep.
Your cards are all either members of the family or like attributes or something.
Yep.
Of yourself, perhaps. And then, as you play through the game, you can do things like grow a new bedroom off your side, and that lets you like hold more cards in your hand at once or whatever. Like you've got different ways you can alter yourself and grow.
Yep.
Which affects, like how many cards you can play in a turn because you like pump up your cardio system or something, and you can hold more cards because you grew a bedroom wing.
It's just I'm remembering too much about that flesh house thing, and I'm pretty sure we made the mistake of picturing them having sex. So,
well, if we didn't then, we have now.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, click. Dessert.
Horizon. So, are you sure it's dessert or not desert?
No, it's dessert. Horizon, 0 dessert. The Dessert Horizon.
Oh, I'm just imagining now, it's set on this alien world that, as far as humans are concerned, like, this whole world is just desserts. As in, you're like in the Pavlovian desert sort of thing. And
just fucking desert of meringue.
Yeah,
it's not a very good pavlova. There's no cream to be found. They're in a
there is. You just got to
drought.
dig down for it. Like it's like an upside down Pavlova.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just loving this whole idea of this like open world set on like this.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I can get behind that. So you're a human though. You've landed on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are the local denizens like? Are they also sugary?
Yeah, I think
treats.
Have you ever seen Adventure Time?
I have. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like lolly, gumdrop people and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Princess Bubblegum, as it were. Yeah, I kind of like the idea that it's kind of like that, but not obviously Adventure Time. But it's.
Yeah. We're not licensing it.
No.
Okay. This is a more serious game anyway. This is like realistic, graphics. Those graphics things.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everything's ray traced and you really need that.
Yeah, the textures on the ice cream mountains are just
you really need that
for.
2080 to be able to do this. But the problem is, like, you don't want to get struck in the treacle swamp because, you're never going to get out of that shit.
Yeah, so we're sort of talking a mix between like Adventure Time, Wreck-It Ralph, like the Sugar Rush world.
Yep.
But a bit grittier.
Yeah, but a bit more, kind of like a Planet of the Apes sort of
action
thing.
Adventure.
Yeah, I'm thinking that you've shipwrecked on this planet.
Yep.
And when you first got there, you started like eating
things,
lollies and that sort of stuff until you realized that you're actually eating, the citizens of this world,
sentient creatures. And then they lock you up.
Now you're on the run, sort of thing.
I love the idea that the intro is all that happening. They lock you up, and then they leave you, and then the first thing you do is just like chew through the pretzel stick bars
of the gingerbread cage that you're in.
Yeah, a bit of savory there, and then and then you're on the run, and it's this epic adventure through sweet planet sweets stuff. Sucrosia.
Oh God.
Do you befriend a local who becomes your companion?
Yeah, and I think they're from a rival faction. They're like part of the fructose people. So you got the difference between sucrose and fructose sort of happening.
Okay. I don't know enough about chemistry to know what difference that would actually make to what these.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the fructose people are primarily like fruits and stuff like that, and they're sort of like the healthy alternatives.
Well. I mean, yes, they both come from sugarcane and stuff, though, is what I'm seeing here. That's fine. We don't have to go all sciencey on it.
Yeah, doesn't matter as long as the villain is high fructose corn syrup. Then we know that
Well, the villain is melting people down into high fructose corn syrup and exporting it to Earth.
I'm picturing that like the villain is actually a piece of chocolate or something like that. But it's or is the most disgusting thing in the world licorice.
It's licorice. Yeah, it's definitely licorice. Shunned from birth, has a chip on their shoulder for all these sugary treats.
Yeah. And it's that dodgy Dutch shit too, so it's extremely salty and no one actually likes it.
I'm not sure how deep we want to go into, because who actually eats these? Like, do they get eaten? But because we're talking about like they know, like he knows that he's not tasty, but to who?
Oh, it's just the
It's just a general sense, like
just
like
a general sense of.
Like, we know if someone's attractive generally, there's a general sense of attractiveness.
Yes.
in this world, there's just a general sense of deliciousness.
Yeah.
Okay.
As in, we can very, very simply see that, the gumdrop people are they're
like
sugary
frosted in sugar
and look awesome to eat. And, the
although I
Dutch
kind of do like the idea that
really, 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 like, horrible. You see dust actually on it, and dust bunnies stuck to it, and like a band-aid and all that sort of stuff. It's all stuff that you go, oh yeah, I really don't want to eat that.
I do like the idea that in this world, whenever you meet a new person, you just lick them. Like, because that's actually how you tell, like, how much you're attracted to someone or how tasty they are. It's just you give like you kind of do a little kiss on the cheek here. You just give them a little.
God.
I like you. Might take another.
It's sort of like a kiss on the hand, and it just turns into like this big lick.
Yeah. Oop, up to the elbow. So you play a human, though. So you play a human. Is it that you are on a mission? Like, is this the human source of high fructose corn syrup?
Okay, so what I picture,
but you've only ever traded in like orbit around the planet.
Yeah, what I picture that you're playing is like you're playing a character that all you see is like his surname is Bucket. It's C Bucket.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether you've got my reference yet, but I'll...
No, continue.
We'll keep on going.
Yes, now I have. Yes. Gotcha. Yep.
He got shipwrecked, and the whole thing being... Whether we, necessarily go down this whole route of...
Yeah, or if it's just an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that, he's got marooned on this place many, many years after his previous adventures with a certain other character who shall be unnamed in this reference.
You just see WW in a few places, like on correspondence.
Yeah, and he's got a locket around his neck, and there's got like just a note in there saying, something from...
The factory is yours.
Something from Grandpa or something like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
Grandpa Joe. So, yes, it's Willy Wonka.
I hope everybody got that by now.
Either way, I just think that's, it's the perfect thing of, he was traveling the world, traveling the universe in like the Great Glass Elevator, and got marooned when, there was a crack. So the whole idea is that you're now trying to find like some sort of silica to actually create new glass for the Great Glass Elevator, so you can actually head off. But of course, everything is just sugar on this world.
I thought we were only making it like a reference. He's just flying in a glass elevator.
Yeah, well, it's, it doesn't necessarily have to be a great glass elevator. It just, the glass on this particular ship has broken.
I think you allude to that. I think at this point he's just a grizzled old space traveler. Like, because of his Great Glass Elevator adventures, humanity went to space, discovered new life forms, and has now set up a trade agreement with Sucrosia for high fructose corn syrup by the shipful.
Yep.
And this is C Bucket's fall from grace. Chuck Bucket. Chuck Bucket. Oh, that doesn't work. Gross.
Just his name is Chuck the entire game, and then then at the end you actually see that it was actually Bucket, Charles Bucket,
Charles F Bucket,
and then you realize Chuck Bucket.
Yeah, gross. So he's just on a track. He's basically a long haul ship driver, right? But something happens, and the ship crashes, and he gets in an escape pod, and crash lands on the planet, and then it kicks off, and he's just like, "Am I back in the factory? Everything's edible. It's a chocolate river."
And you're edible, but that's sometimes called cannibalism.
Yeah, it turns out it's all in his head, and like he just ate his crew members.
You just see there's Oompa Loompas like strewn about everywhere with like big bites taken out of them.
The Oompa Loompa killing fields. Oh god! All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Stimulate.
Pamphlet. No.
Okay. I mean, the only thing I'm sort of thinking of is this is like Jackbox's new game for like Jackbox Party Pack 7.
Okay.
In that you're just going off against each other, doing sort of like some similar to the t-shirt sort of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
You're basically creating,
making like pamphlets.
stimulating advertisements and based off of prompts. So.
Okay. I like that. That's cool. So let's do a deep dive on how that would work. So obviously, Jackbox game. Everybody's on their phone.
Yep.
So is this similar to the t-shirt one? Is this like draw something and then somebody writes like an advertising slogan?
Yeah.
Or is it that you blindly write an advertising slogan, or do you have to write a slogan for, like, maybe it's everybody draws something and then it goes through them all and everybody has to write an advertising slogan for it.
Yep. And then people vote.
Choose the best.
And then,
then you vote on which ones you like.
And then, you get to sort of, in the next round, then, okay, you got to come up with something else that
fits the slogan.
Sort of fits the slogan. And then you get a final thing of sort of setting up the front and the back of the pamphlet sort of thing. Where.
Yeah, you've got, maybe you can, I kind of like the idea of a little, because you want them, and maybe this even isn't an actual drawing one. It's more of you've got a template on your phone where you can sort of just select it and then choose different backgrounds and then different like maybe fonts or different pictures, clip art kind of things, photos.
Yep.
And there's a large enough range that, you can just mix and match the front and back of this pamphlet, but it gets filled in with somebody else's the slogan or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
That's cool.
I do like that.
All right.
Having played a lot of Jackbox, it's kind of...
Oh, I love Jackbox. Well, here, let's do a thing. Because that was pretty quick. Let's click again, but the next one is the next game in Jackbox Party Pack 7.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Mame.
Falling.
Okay. See, that's tricky because that like, I think of action. That seems action-ish, but the whole thing with Jackbox games is really, it's sort of
okay,
turn-based stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
So there is it's another drawing game. You have a person at the very top, who's basically going to fall and land somewhere and be totally maimed. Your whole idea is to like draw a safe path for them to sort of land. But you've got one person who's able to sort of like mess around with that and basically try to kill the person. I'm kind of thinking.
Oh well, I wonder if it's that you've got like each person has like a parasailer, or like someone who's jumped out of a plane is parachuting down, and like there are paths through this viciously dangerous area. And so you, on your phone, draw the path that you are going to attempt to take. But, of course, you don't know what path the others are going to take. Yep. And so as you go through certain sections, you might, like, set off traps behind you or just collide with the other person.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of everyone plans their path, and then you just watch the chaos.
I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't even bring in some almost the ultimate chicken horse mechanics in of... Each round, you get one thing that you can place down, and your whole idea is to make sure that your character's getting all the way down safely while killing everyone else's.
Yeah, but I like the idea that it's part of your drop, in that you still have to plan it out ahead of time.
Yep.
So you've basically got, okay, you get to choose from one of these 3 items to take with you, and then it's like, all right, I'm going to, you draw your line down, I'm dropping down here, and it's like, okay, this is the spot that I'm going to, like, set off that thing, or put that thing, so that the strategy for my next 2 paratroopers, like, they're going to have a benefit,
Okay, so I like the fact that all you can see on your own thing is where you've put traps and where you've drawn things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that'll work really well.
And then it plays out. Then it plays out in front of you, and it's like, oh shit, they put
they put a fan right where I was coming down. It was like,
yeah, exactly. And it's just screwed up my whole plan but now it's like, okay, well now next time I know there's a fan here, I can use that to my advantage because it like speeds me up or something, or it's going to bring me over to this side of the map, and then I'm going to drop this.
What actually happened is they used their dynamite to actually blow that up, and then caused. So you've just gone into someone else's thing that you weren't expecting.
I think you can cross over. I think you can. I think you could definitely like cross over each other and just run into each other if you plan your paths through each other.
Yep. Yeah.
And maybe your paratroopers just like attack each other if they're close enough, like automatically just start kicking out.
So you can actually, instead of placing down something, you can maybe hand one of them a machete so they can actually,
Yeah. Then you're intentionally trying to cross over with other people because you've actually got a weapon to, cut their fucking ropes or something.
Yep.
Or just kill them. Yeah, I like that. It's interesting. I love that idea of setting the path through. Yeah, and I don't know if you'd actually draw a line. You might have to just have like specific nodes in the level that it's like, okay, I'm gonna aim this direction. But yeah, at each node you can choose to use your item or different things you can do. Maybe even speed up, slow down, to sort of second guess what other people might do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is.
It reminds me of there was a game, RoboSport.
Yep.
It was a Maxis game.
I don't remember it, so
it was. There have been other games like it. Well, kind of like that Frozen Synapse as well, where you're blindly setting out the path of your troops.
Yep.
Without knowing what the other people are doing, and then it all plays out at once. Funny story about RoboSport is my dad and I still have a running joke because he chose to buy RoboSport for our annual Christmas video game, which back in the day when it was a huge treat to get a new game on Christmas, and he chose RoboSport over Star Control 2, and I was pretty pissed because RoboSport was terrible and did not run very well at all.
And Star Control 2 was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, click. We won't go the Jackbox again unless it really lends itself. Panther.
Silicon
Panther. Ooh. This is another name of like a band or something. Silicon Panther? They're all dressed up in like latex or something. I feel like black latex.
I'm now thinking Silicon Panther is like the name of like a superhero in like the 1990s or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe like when silicon microchips or whatever.
Yeah, so like when it's sort of the turn of the century, 1990s to 2000, in Silicon Valley, this awesome scientist, I'm trying to think of her name, she's working on, these microchips and, at the same time of drinking, I don't know, some sort of sports drink that has something to do with Panther, there's like this massive accident and she gets sort of like combined into...
Ooh, classic 80s style. Just like spilled some Coke on the computer and now I'm a superhero.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like it.
She has like the power to like control microchips as well as like the speed of a panther.
Okay. I can get behind that. We're inventing a new superhero for this game. And we're telling her story and her adventures. So what sort of game are we thinking? Are we going kind of classic modern superhero sort of 3D, beat 'em up traversal game? Or are we going a bit more narrative with it and making it like a point and click or something else, or a slower adventure game?
A slower adventure game in VR. Because I don't know, I like the idea of being able to like control electronics and stuff from within VR and feel all super powerful.
That could be cool. I'm just picturing like, pointing at something, like a fucking. The first thing that came to mind was just a little RC car. But like, you point at it, you pull the grip so that you kind of make your connection to it, and then as you rotate your hand, like that's controlling it.
Yeah.
And you can have that going on like two things at once. So you can be doing, one with one hand and one the other, and it's independent controls and stuff.
Oh yeah, and you got sort of like tilt it forward to move forward and tilt it back to go back sort of thing. So you're having to control it there, but you've also grabbed hold of, I'm thinking like a massive crane off in the distance.
Yeah.
You're rotating around to turn and all this sort of stuff, and tilting down to drop the massive wrecking ball, and you're just getting.
Yeah, I think creating some somewhat natural controls there for. Yeah, with the VR controllers, but having that flexibility of, okay, well, I'm just going to let go. You just let go of the grip, all right, I'm not controlling that anymore, and then I'm controlling something else. And so you can really sort of orchestrate these situations.
Yeah, sneaking through the bad guy's village, and I mistakenly said village, but I'm going to go with it. You see the security cameras up there, you take control of it, move it out of the way, you sneak past, and then you let go and keep on going.
Yeah, actually, and that's cool. Like when that becomes second nature to just like, and I think maybe you get sort of little highlights. You can see things that are microchip controlled, in a different, they light up or something.
Yeah,
in your vision.
I'm thinking in like a cutscene, she like controls a microwave just to like heat a bean burrito or something like that.
I love the idea that she has to just be like spinning her hand inside, like you have to like rotate your hand to keep it spinning.
If you don't, then the whole thing just sets on fire, and it's like.
Yeah, I do like the idea though of having those little casual in between scenes where it's just like she's at home and she wants to turn the TV on and she wants to whatever else. I can't find the remote. Oh well, whatever. Zap it.
No.
No, I like it. And then is there combat stuff, and then like you just having to take down all these people who are basically running towards you and trying to attack you with
I think there's basic combat,
things.
But it's more blocking and using like electronics to. So you can block a punch and then pull some sort of I don't know. Microchip controlled.
Well, or maybe you've even just got like a taser sort of thing.
Oh, yep.
Because I do like that combination of you kind of have to you have to let them get close enough, block an attack, and then like zap them, and they go sort of blasting back.
Oh yeah.
But you don't necessarily have like ranged attacks. The only ranged attacks you've got are taking control of things in the environment.
Yeah, I do like the idea of being able to block and then literally cattle prod straight into the gut sort of thing.
Basically, yeah. Like I think you've got on both hands you've got like built-in kind of zappers.
Yeah. And
so with either hand you can just like block an attack and then like come across with the other hand and hit the A button or whatever, and that sort of blasts you the little taser thing.
I do like the idea of it having a charge, so you can't just be going through and bang, 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 bang. And
no, I think most of the time you're wanting to use the environment, and you've got maybe a few attacks before you run out, and you have to, like
find a charging station, a la Half-Life.
Yes, well, I think maybe they even come back over time, but you need to fend them off in other ways.
So I think at first she's going up against some typical human opponents, but then as it goes through, like there's like super soldier sort of things that you're going up against, or maybe even alien sort of invasions, sort of like how Marvel gradually builds up to be something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think you raise the stakes for sure. I wonder if by the end you're in an area where there are some sort of robots or automatons, and so you can really like there are too many of them. You can't just take them all over, but you're able to do things like, all right, take over that one with the fucking machine gun and spin him around so it just shoots all his own guys.
Yep. Take control of literally the commander robot. And it means that the entire army sort of falls in behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this great scene at the end. You've got this whole bit where it's like you just need to get to that commander. And then the final moment is you like taking over that commander and just turning around, and this army of like 10,000 robots just turns around in lockstep and faces the bad guy.
Yep.
He's just like, shit.
I'm always picturing, how in all the Sonic games, your Dr. Eggman always came up at the end of each sort of stage in like this big robot. And I think every time that he turns up, it's just like this bigger robot. And it's like you never sort of learn, and you just take control of it and turn it
never
on.
learn. Yeah, I like that though, but there are weak points. Like the first one he shows up in is just like, I can just take control of that, and you like take control of it and just pull him out. The robot pulls the bad guy out of itself and just slams them on the ground. It's like, okay, I win. But then he starts coming up with, okay, now I've got shielding for it, so you can't get through or whatever, but you have to get behind him, and just, turn him around somehow, whack him with the wrecking ball so he turns around, and then you can take control of it.
Yeah.
And they keep getting bigger, and it's like, oh, now this one, you can only take control of one leg at a time, so you kind of, you can like time it right or something. Yeah. I like that though.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's cool.
Oh, okay. I reckon we can go one more.
Yeah, let's do one more. Hair cutting.
Leash.
Leash? Like a dog leash?
Dog leash. Leash.
It doesn't have to be a dog. Let's not put ourselves there right away, but let's just for context. All right, leash and hair cutting. Okay. I mean, that does make sense for dogs, but we could think of something else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hair cutting games. I feel like we've done a VR hair cutting game.
Yeah, we've done lots of those.
So that's less.
Ooh.
That's the standard thing.
A rare use. A group of 3 animals such as hounds, hawks, or foxes. I saw a leash of foxes.
Okay.
So I kind of like
How do we do hair cutting?
Well, I'm just wondering.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Maybe you're like some sort of hunter, where this is a world where like the hair of particular creatures has different properties.
Oh, yep.
And you have a leash of foxes that is part of your like hunting.
Yeah, you can sort of send them out.
Yeah.
To sort of whether it be hounds or because
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sort of liking the idea of a
choose.
bloodhound sort of thing, being able to go off and
well, and it doesn't even have to be like I'm kind of picturing this as maybe a little bit Monster Hunter, but instead of everything being kind of like dinosaur-like, they're all hairy.
Yep,
in different ways. Some have really long flowing hair. Some have spiky, different hair, curly hair. You've got all the different types of hair and different colors, perhaps, or different, or maybe just whatever creature they're from. Yeah, you can craft, or you can sell them for different amounts. Some are rarer than others.
So the antagonist of the game is like this Fabio-esque figure with these long, flowing blonde locks, and his glistening muscles, and he's literally
No one does hair better than me.
Yeah, and basically he's trying to keep all the awesome hair for himself, sort of thing. So that, like, I'm just imagining that his golden locks is actually like a wig.
It's
so
like
he's actually
that he's
got male pattern baldness, and therefore his whole thing is if I can't have hair, neither can.
He's overcompensating.
Yeah,
he's insecure. Yeah. That's cool. And then you're just this young upstart hair cutter.
Yeah, I can sort of picture that. You start off just going for, different sorts of animals. You got the woolly mammoth. You got
and I think you start small, even, right? Like initially, you've got smaller creatures that you can. So I'm picturing kind of in a gameplay perspective, you've got your leash of hounds, and so you can direct them, and you're like flushing animals out. Like they're helping you to flush animals out, and then you've got like nets and things, or like snares, particularly for the smaller animals, where you can catch them, and then you just come up with your shears, and just like take a big chunk of their hair off, and then you let them go. And that's kind of the beginning, and then
you're out hunting one day, and then you come back,
build up,
you come back to your village. And you see, like, the Fabio-esque figure just, sort of getting all the villagers into the center and just cutting off all their hair, sort of thing.
Oh, that's evil. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because does human hair have a particular?
Well, I think it's
property?
Like it's the forbidden hair that you're not supposed to actually take control of that, and we can have some sort of thing. Where
I like the idea that they like weave their armor from it, or they do make wigs from the hair that they gather from these creatures, and that's how like these properties are kind of applied to a person.
Yeah, and so I kind of like the idea that your grandmother pulls you aside and says, "Here's a forbidden wig that we have. Maybe you can go and talk to the five oracles from my time, and see if you can get the
five
other
follicles.
Get the other pieces to this wig so that you can actually face off against this person. And so then the rest of the time is you're using animal hair and getting more powers from the human hair that you. Well,
and I think as you go, obviously you start hunting larger and larger creatures, but you're never killing them.
No.
But you have to do certain moves. Like, I love the idea that like, as you start getting to these larger animals, now you're just carrying around this big pair of scissors. And, like, you have to, like, all right, this animal's got these like, long, like, flowing neck hairs things or something. Like, this is what I need to get. And so you need to, like, get up high and sort of parachute down a bit and then drop, and you need to, equip your scissors and just like slice through as you fall past or something and grab onto it. You get these different moves to basically get access to the hair and cut the hair from these creatures. Yeah,
I'm liking almost a Shadow of the Colossus sort of thing where you're going off against this like huge giant where you're just trying to like cut his arm. Cut his armpit hair. Yeah, exactly. That's like one of the huge set pieces later on.
Yeah.
I'm sort of thinking if you've ever played like God of War 3 and those sort of things with the massive titans.
Yeah, for sure.
That you end up sort of fighting at some stages.
Well, and I just love the idea. I love that. There's that classic pirate thing where they like jam their knife into a like the sail and slide down.
Yep.
I'm picturing you doing that on the side of the flank of this giant beast with like clippers.
Yep.
And just shaving this line down the side of them as all this hair comes off, and then you just gather it up at the bottom, and you've got your prize.
Yeah, I'm really liking this idea of the hounds are sort of helping you flush out smaller animals, but as you go, you have to sort of think about, okay, if I'm going to flush out some birds, okay, this time I need my hawks, and then depending on what
and I think maybe it comes down to maybe you start, you're able to flush out different types of animals, but maybe to lure the larger animals, you have to flush out particular types of the smaller animals, which they then will like hunt, like they will come and try to eat. So that's sort of how you manage to lure out, or you just have to hunt them and like leave them as a trap or a snare or whatever for the larger ones to lure them out.
Yep, and I think definitely like the final sort of battle is against this Fabio-esque figure, in which your whole thing is to start cutting his hair. You know,
I love the idea that it's just this like close quarters combat, and you're just having to like try to get behind him. He's just real quick.
He's real quick, but if you manage to cut like one piece of hair off, then all of a sudden you realize that there is a chance that you can win, and that's when everything sort of turns around.
Yeah. It's this real like, turning point, climactic moment.
Yep.
As you get this, like, zooms in on this one strand of hair. Like, I'm picturing this sort of slow down anime style, like, shunk, and everything slows down, and then you see the blade still going through the air as this little bit of hair comes off.
Yep.
Fabio's like, no!
Yeah, and then kind of, like, the gold sheen that's sort of on his hair sort of just shimmers for a little bit, and sort of looks as though the power's slightly
starts to deaden.
Slightly deadened.
Yeah, maybe like Rapunzel, his hair turns brunette.
Turns orange.
Yeah, he's a ginger.
Yeah, I kind of do like this idea.
That's cool.
It's a bit different.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think we'll leave it there. So if you want to find us online, you can go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. Give us a follow. You'll see new releases and things in your feed. Leave us a rating. We'd love that. Leave us a review.
Yep. If you like what you hear, definitely leave us a rating and a review, and just get in touch with us.
Get in touch. We are also part of the 8-Bit Network, the 8-Bit Collective, and this is a group of podcasters who just help each other out and hang out, and we saw them all at PAX, and that was a blast. Did some stuff up on stage together, different things. So check out 8bit.net and take a look at some of those other great podcasts.
Yep, we'd also like you to check out the AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network, a group of like-minded individuals who just want to help each other out and basically formed a network. We'd also like you to check out our band, Kuradust, because they kindly gave us the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure for our start and end music.
That's it. So, thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I am Trevor Scott.
And I have a lot of hair, which makes me powerful.